we have a special report for you that we at the Megyn Kelly Show have been working on for quite some time. It is a deep dive into the real impacts of clean, renewable energy that comes in the form of windmill farms. It turns out these wind farms that the Biden administration pushed for are not only aesthetically ugly, but they're harming wildlife and they're toxic, especially whales along the coast of the United States, including in New Jersey, where my family and I spend our summers. Since President Trump entered office for the second time, he's taken major action to stop these wind farms, but the fight is not over. We've been working on this report with a special correspondent, Molly Moran. She's a high school student from North Carolina, a sophomore, who won the opportunity to work with us through a fundraiser I offered at a school here in Connecticut. Somebody bought it for her, thinking that she might enjoy it, and she's a fan of the show, and she and I have gotten to know each other. It's actually been a lot of fun working with her for these past several months. She helped us research and help write a package for the Megyn Kelly Show and brought us some answers. And then she came on set, came up here to Connecticut and sat down with yours truly not long ago about what she learned. Take a look here.
Another beached whale mystery.
The fourth whale death in our region since the start of the year.
Something is killing whales off the Atlantic coast.
The sight of whales washing up on our beaches is haunting enough, but now we can hear what may be driving them to their deaths. Just listen to the underwater sounds captured in the documentary Thrown to the Wind.
Are you kidding me? It sounds like they're like on someone pile drives.
That's loud. And it's 24 hours a day, so it's day and night.
For many environmentalists, that relentless, high-decibel sonar emitted by wind industry vessels is the smoking gun. Proof, they say, that offshore wind farms are driving whales to their deaths.
I saw this captain post something. He said in his 20 to 25 years on the ocean, he's only seen one dead whale. I think it was like 2 months ago, he saw 3 in the same day. Yeah. 3 in the same day.
The North Atlantic right whale has been hit the hardest. Only about 370 remain. And in 2022, NOAA admitted the whales were suffering through an unusual mortality event worse than anyone first thought. Thrown to the Wind exposed the memo's warnings about wind farms.
So when the turbines are spinning, it creates a turbulence on the back end of it. The concern is that it's going to destroy the plankton, which is what the whales feed on.
Warnings from scientists that were ignored. When the Biden administration announced sweeping protections for the Arctic Ocean to safeguard wildlife, there wasn't even a mention of whales in the path of these wind farms. The Megyn Kelly Show regular Michael Schellenberger executive produced the documentary.
What a scandal. I mean, just appalling behavior by many, many people that knew better or should have known better. It's impossible to look at these correlations and not imagine there's some connection.
So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Then a sea change in Washington.
They're ugly. They don't work.
In January, President Trump kept the promise he made on the campaign trail, halting all new wind projects and moving to stop those already underway.
It's crazy. They're dangerous. You see what's happening up in the Massachusetts area with the whales, where they had 2 whales wash ashore in, I think, a 17-year period. And now they had 14 this season. The windmills are driving the whales crazy.
Just last month, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing that $679 million in federal funding had been pulled from 12 offshore wind projects, including the massive wind port at Paulsboro, a relief for locals who say the turbines would scar the horizon.
I'm pretty happy about it. I live here year-round, and not something I wanted to look forward to when I go to the beach.
A victory for those fighting to preserve the beauty of the Jersey Shore and much of the Atlantic coast, and for the endangered whales with no other choice but to make these waters their home. All right, so our special correspondent for the day, Molly Moran, is with me. You did all the research behind this piece for us. It's so interesting. I mean, what's happening, that this is like truly disturbing. What made you interested in this?
Well, the first time and only time I've ever seen a whale in person was on family vacation. We went to Mexico a few years ago. We saw this whale and a calf, and it kept like jumping in front, like all playful and stuff. And then the like the mother was kind of like behind, like huffing at it. And it kind of reminded me of like my sister and like my mom and like how like similar mammals can be.
Aww.
And it just was so interesting to me.
Totally. I get it. I've been only one whale watch in my life, but you really have a newfound appreciation for them when you see them up close, how big they are. Of course, they're mammals. They seem like many of them very loving. Depends on the whale, I guess. But this documentary by Schellenberger, Thrown to the Wind, like everything Schellenberger does, is really good. What stood out to you the most in that whole thing?
The sound that the windmills are making is kind of like having a jackhammer outside your classroom. So with humans, we can like switch locations, we can communicate over text, but with whales, they only use sound. They completely rely on it. So when like mothers and calves are communicating, they only use sound. They can't communicate, cause them to get lost, and is really impacts their population numbers because they get anxious and it can be like deadly.
That's so sad. We actually have a clip from the Schellenberger documentary, Thrown to the Wind, on that. Let's watch it.
The calf needs the mother for food. The mother's trying to raise the calf. So the mother will expend energy to try to find the calf, will raise the vocalization level, will look around for the calf, it'll swim to its last position. All of these things have been documented. But at some point, both the mother and the calf run out of energy. At that point, if they're close enough to shore, maybe they beach and you find them. If they're out here, they die and they sink.
Okay, so now what the audience does not know is that you and I have been working on this piece together for the better part of a year.
Yes.
You've been doing tons of research, and we wound up narrowing it down in the end to the whale issue, but there's a lot of issues with these windmills. Were you surprised? You were surprised when you found out like the number of things that people object to about them and that the problems they're causing?
I think I was pretty surprised just because it's causing more harm than good, because it's like hurting the numbers of an already endangered species. Like the whales, they only have like 300 or so left of this certain population.
Yeah, we don't have them to spare. So if Donald Trump called you up and said, I'm going to give you the magic wand for the day, Molly, what's the solution to this problem?
The whales are endangered, the wind is not. It is affecting the whales. I mean, to know to what extent it would take like years of research. I think for now we put a halt to using wind energy, at least in this area where it would affect whales.
Yeah, at least in the water where
Yes.
where not only does it kill the whales, it ruins the views. There's so many issues. There's toxins in those blades, which are huge and really not easy to dispose of. The list is very long. This is actually very worthwhile. And it's so funny because we started working on this before Trump got elected.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like we knew this was going to be an issue, but we didn't know he was going to come in and solve it.
No, we didn't.
Sorry. So how you're from North Carolina? Are you? Have you done anything on the environment yet in school or no?
We've learned about some environmental science. We had biology last year where we had like a small unit on learning about the environment, and also all through 8th grade was environmental science.
Have they started telling you that we have to go solar and wind all the time and get rid of oil and gas?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is the problem with schools today. If that comes back up, now you're going to be armed with better information.
Yes, I will.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and thank you for all your help with this.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you have a desire for a career in journalism, you're off to a great start.
Thank you.
All the best, Molly. Molly Moran, everybody. Future star. She did a great job. That was great. Great job, Molly Moran, everybody. Can you believe sophomore in high school? A lot of poise. Want to dig in further on this with someone who is quite familiar with the dangers of windmill farms, and that is a hero to me, U.S. Representative Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey. Representative Van Drew has held multiple hearings on the impact of offshore wind. He is a fierce warrior against this nonsense. He worked to put an end to these future projects with President Trump. Congressman, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's great to be with you, Megyn. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure to meet you. You have been like a dog with a bone trying to prevent this nonsense, and you're winning. It's so great to get a win. Before we get to the winning, can you elaborate on some of the downsides of these massive wind farms?
Megyn, there are so many. You know, I've been around for a few years. I was a state senator, state assemblyman, and mayor. I've seen a lot of projects. I don't think I've ever seen one project that was so bad in so many ways. And initially, many of us were open to it. We thought of bucolic windmills. These aren't windmills. They're industrial wind turbines. They use lubricants that are dangerous in the water. They are very expensive to run, and your utility bills would go up. Even those that advocate advocate for them will say utility bills would go up, and they've gone up enough already, 2 or 3 times as much as they are already. Bad for the fishermen. That's how I got involved when I spoke to a lot of the fishing industry, much of which is in my district. They knew what it was going to do. They asked for help, and of course, we got involved. They are bad for tourism. They are bad for the environment, national security. They are a danger to radar because they're 1,000 feet tall with red lights on top of it. The list goes on. And most of all, when we are energy rich, and we can be independent and don't need to depend upon anybody, we should be exporting energy. Rather than do that, this administration, as it always did with everything American, reduced it and was going to make us rely upon foreign companies to supply our energy. That would be very expensive. I could go on, Megyn. Unbelievable.
The left wants to paint itself as the pro-environment group, but the truth is these things are terrible for the environment. The blades are like the span of an airplane from wing to wing. They're huge, and they're on each one of these wind turbines. And on top of that, they're full of toxins, which we have no idea what to do with when these things break or are retired.
In Nantucket, some of them broke, got in the water. They had to close the beaches down. They're fiberglass. They're not recyclable. After 15 years, these things are done. And you know what their answer is? They're just going to cut them down towards the base, but they're going to leave the structure in there. They don't even know what to do with the blades. They're dangerous. And we have in my office, one of the things when we had one of our hearings, we brought somebody in from Nantucket, and the display shows the shattered wind turbine blade, and it says, do not touch because it's dangerous. It'll get in your skin. I mean, if you're putting that out in our beautiful, pristine ocean, a gift from God, and you're actually doing that, it is just unbelievable. It is the height of hypocrisy. And if you know what it's about, Megyn, it was billions upon billions of dollars for rich companies to make even more money.
Buy gold and get free silver. That's right. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, they will send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Look, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they will send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you are current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer just for you. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider diversifying your savings into gold. Text MK to the number 989898 for a free info kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver, too, with qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Again, text MK to the number 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.